Chapter 13 of Boruto Two Blue Vortex introduced many interesting concepts and revealed many things, including the existence of new Shinju entities. And by entities, I mean more than one. You see, along with the Shinki Shinju that was shown in one of Koji's visions, there is another Shinju that was hinted at in the latter portions of the chapter. And I believe that this Shinju is a clone of Kakashi. Now for this to make sense, we first need to understand a few things. For one, the panel that showed what we're assuming to be the Shinki Shinju was indeed a vision of a possible reality, which means that it doesn't technically exist as yet. It's even possible that he doesn't get created since the future isn't definitive. Boruto could simply forge a path where Shinki never gets devoured, which would snuff out that possible future. Even so, some have argued that the last panels of chapter 13 depicted his creation. This stems from Matsuri taking what appears to be another thorn soul bulb from the roots or vines that were used to create Hidari. She then placed it on the black cube while saying that she really wants to see what will emerge. Now we didn't get to see the bulb itself turn into another Shinju, but based on Jura saying what to name you, it does imply that something was formed, which everyone assumes to be the Shinki Shinju. Now I believe that this is a clear misdirection, or what you would call a red herring. You see, the mere fact that the new Shinju wasn't shown on panel proves that it isn't the Shinki Shinju. This makes perfect sense since that Shinju was already shown on panel in Koji's visions, which means there's no reason to keep his character a mystery by not showing him on the panel in the latter portions of the chapter. So from a writing perspective, it doesn't make sense since you'd only do this in cases where you'd want to surprise the viewers with a later reveal. It wouldn't work in this case since the Shinki Shinju was revealed in one of the future possibilities. So the Shinju created off panel has to be someone else for the mystery to work, which is why it's a red herring. Now, with that said, why is the Shinju Kakashi? Well, this all goes back to what Ikimoto said in a past interview. You see, the question posed was that if there's any Naruto characters that have yet to appear in Boruto that he would love to have a chance to design in their older form. He then replied saying that it would be a spoiler, but you have to wonder, why doesn't Kakashi Sensei get more screen time even though he's such a popular character? What a mystery. Not that I can say anything about it. Now this clearly implies that Kakashi was going to be relevant to the plot later on in the manga itself, because that's what Ikimoto controls. And what's interesting about this statement is that it came out just a few months before Kishimoto returned to the manga and Kodachi was no longer involved with the project. Though it was recently revealed that the person actively writing Boruto is Ikimoto himself. Kishimoto is just his supervisor who reviews his work before it's published, and they basically run ideas by each other. He initially gave him the outline back in 2016, but the story is far removed from the original draft as stated by Kishimoto himself. So the entire saga with Ada and Damon, Code still being alive, Kashin Koji's renewed significance to the plot, and possibly even the existence of the Shinjus are indeed new additions to the story. Which means that Ikimoto's plan of adding Kakashi to the mainline story could play out as well, specifically in the form of a new Shinju. Now some of you guys have a problem with this since Kakashi hasn't been present in the story for some time, so it would be weird to see him show up as a Shinju. And while I do understand where you guys are coming from, I think it can work, especially given the fact that the other Shinjus such as Matsuri and the Shinki Shinju both also stem from characters who barely have any presence in the manga whatsoever. So given the ties established between Kakashi and these characters in the anime adaptation, I think him being brought back into the story after being rescued using the Thorn Soul Bulb does make sense, which would explain why we didn't see him in the future Koji saw with the Shinki Shinju. With that said, this isn't the interesting part of the video, to be honest. What I'm most curious about is what his unique ability will be. As you can see in chapter 5, it was revealed that they share an even deeper connection with the person they copied, in that these new entities seem to possess an innate goal or instinct to consume the person closest to that individual. Now Jura believes that this is a side effect of them evolving differently, thus changing their instinctual drive, and that they should give into it, which should in time reveal their personal targets. This then led to the female Shinju named Matsuri revealing that she has the urge to consume Konohamaru, who is a childhood friend of Moegi, the person she copied. The Bug Shinju also revealed that his desire is to consume Ada, who is the person Bug had the deepest connection with due to the effects of her charm ability. Similarly, the Sasuke Shinju known as Hidari revealed that his desire is to consume Sarada Uchiha, the daughter of the person he cloned. Now this connection even goes a bit further since the Shinjus also possess at least one ability from the person they copied. So Matsuri has Earth Release, which stems from Moegi, and Hidari has Chidori, which stems from Sasuke. Now the Bug Shinju doesn't have any special ability, which makes sense since Bug himself didn't have any, and Jura seems to have the ability to use Biju Bombs, which also makes sense since he's the embodiment of the Ten Tails itself. I explained this in this video, so you guys can go check it out after this one. That aside, the point is that the Kakashi Shinju must also possess a unique ability stemming from Kakashi, which in all likelihood would have to be Chidori, Earth Release, or Purple Lightning. This makes perfect sense since the Shinjus seem to copy the ability the person used a lot at one point in time, which would have to be the Chidori, Purple Lightning, or Earth Release in this case. Now the issue with this is the fact that Hidari already uses Chidori, which is pretty much a variant of Purple Lightning. And when it comes to Matsuri, she's already using Earth Release, so I doubt they're going to repeat the same abilities on another villain, which is where anime science comes in. You see, I believe that it is possible that the Kakashi Shinju may possess the ability to use Obito's Kamui, and there's a reason for that. This all goes back to when Kakashi gained Obito's Mangekyo Sharingans in the battle versus Kaguya. Initially, Obito died and was reduced to ashes after being impaled by Kaguya's ash bones, and we then see that he was transported to another dimension or plane of existence where he met his childhood friend who died over 20 years ago. We all thought that this was the end for Obito, but he then said that he had to help Kakashi one last time. He then used his Mangekyo ability that allows him to travel across dimensions to leave the plane of the dead and re-enter the plane of the living in the form of pure chakra. Now this chakra then entered Kakashi's body, which allowed Obito to manifest within his psyche. Obito then said that he's going to give him one last gift, but it has a fixed time limit, so he should use it wisely. That is when we see Kakashi, who was just a normal ninja just a few moments ago, brandishing both of Obito's Mangekyo Sharingans. Now when this initially happened, a lot of people said that it didn't make sense, as if we didn't just see Hagoromo come back from the dead and pass his chakra to Naruto and Sasuke, who later went on to awaken different abilities due to that chakra. This simply implies that one can awaken the ability of someone else through a connection to that person's chakra, which was shown again by Madara awakening Hagoromo's Renegon by combining the chakra of Ashura and Indra. So using that same logic, one could argue that if Kakashi still has traces of Obito's chakra within his body, the Shinju might be able to manifest Kamui. Now I want to clarify by saying that he doesn't necessarily need to manifest the Mangekyo Sharingan itself, just the ability to use Kamui. This makes perfect sense since Space-Time Ninjutsu itself doesn't require dojutsu as seen with Code and Kinshiki. That was just the case for Obito. And we even have examples of precognition being used by characters such as Kashin Koji without the assistance of a dojutsu, which means that there really isn't any mechanical limitations within the universe itself. So whether the Shinju has the Sharingan or not isn't really relevant, he just needs to have the ability. By the way, this was also foreshadowed to some degree in Boruto episode 106. It showed Kakashi going crazy and the animators snuck in Obito's Mangekyo Sharingan design in Kakashi's left eye. Now this could be the animators just having some fun, but it could also be them hinting at what's to come, which they've done on multiple occasions. Now there is another way in which this could happen. We've already established that one could gain the ability to use a Sharingan and its abilities just by having the chakra of that person. It doesn't require a genetic component such as DNA. So what if all of those years of having Obito's eye altered Kakashi's own chakra to some degree? Now this really stems from what Minato did to Kurama and Naruto. He separated the Nine Tails by splitting its chakra in half using the Reaper Death Seal, then sealed one half inside Naruto himself. Though what's interesting about this is that Minato created the seal with the intention of having the chakra of the Nine Tails slowly leak out over time, which would then merge with Naruto's own chakra, thus making him stronger. Now Naruto didn't gain any additional abilities from this process, but one could argue that it amped his stamina and healing factor beyond what it would have been absent of that chakra. So using the logic of chakras combining over time, meaning that Naruto's chakra is now part Kurama's, one could argue that Kakashi's chakra is now also part Obito's. This makes sense since dojutsus contain power and chakra which streams into the body once the dojutsu is activated. This was confirmed by Obito himself when he said that the chakra from Madara's Renegons was too much for him to handle, and also when Sasuke said that he could feel the power flowing into him after implanting Itachi's eyes. So since Kakashi had Obito's eye implanted in his body for for over 20 years whilst also being active the entire time, it would make sense if Obito's chakra merged with his over time as the Nine Tails did with Naruto. So that data which represents Obito's Sharingan and his abilities should still exist within Kakashi's body to this day. That is why it would make sense if his Shinju possesses Kamui, or at least a version of the technique. Now what I will say is that this really depends on how the Shinju's copy abilities. It could also be the case that it doesn't really need Obito's chakra or DNA. It is possible that the abilities stem from the memory of the person being devoured instead. So in this case, the Shinju would be able to gain the ability to use Kamui by simply tapping into Kakashi's experience using the technique, which he still possesses despite losing the Sharingan. Which would make sense since jutsus are technically a collection of memories and experiences, aside from the ones that are tied directly to a genetic component. And even then, those abilities still require experiences in order to awaken and actively use them. So it is possible that the Shinjus have the ability to just copy abilities from memories and experiences, thus being able to copy Sasuke's Chidori, which is something he learned. Now it could also be both, and in this case, Kakashi should possess a portion of Obito's chakra that is now part of his own, along with the memories of using Kamui, and that should be enough. But of course, we'll see. With that said, that is it for the video. Let me know your thoughts on the video down below. Do you think the new Shinju is Kakashi, or maybe it's Obito? Who knows? Or do you think the Shinju that was shown off panel is also the Shinki Shinju for some reason? Like, why would he show the Shinki Shinju in the future using the prediction ability or whatever it's called, prescience? Like, why would Ikimoto not show him on the last panel when he already showed him in a prior panel? So the mystery is already gone. So I don't see the reason why it would be the Shinki Shinju. But of course, I could be wrong. Maybe it is, and Ikimoto is just having fun. Who knows? Maybe I don't know anything about writing, Maybe that's the case. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down below. Drop a like if you like it, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.